All right, I'm going to give it a few more minutes and then we're going to get started. Just want to give it a few more minutes. This is our first class. Welcome to class. Just going to give it a few more minutes. So if you're just logging in or you're just watching this for the first time, and I'm sure most of you will because that's how we design it here at Rasmussen, just give me a few more seconds. Okay, so welcome to class. This is Advanced Principles of Financial Management. It's a very good course. I've taught it before. My name is Professor Shrafaci. Just a little bit about me. I worked in finance for many years. I'm 65 now, so this has been a second career for me over the last, I can't believe it, 14 years. Um, how I got started was I had a good buddy of mine who we were both working on the finance industry on Wall Street. I'm from a place called Dyker Heights in Brooklyn, which is a nice area. If you look it up, it's a place where people go to Christmas time. Because back then, less so today, but back then it was like 100% Italians. If you know anything about Italians, which I'm one of them, uh, they do big deal during Christmas. They really go crazy decorating their houses. Now it became like an international thing. So a lot of people go and they go to look at the Christmas lights, and they come from all over, and there are nice restaurants there. So, it really became a destination, and which I can't believe. But it was obviously a nice place to grow up, and my family came from there. We actually had the property that was the local golf course, which became pretty famous because Earl Woods, right next to the golf course, which was my family farm. Like my family came over a long, long time ago. Obviously, because it's Brooklyn, right? Um, Earl Woods, Tiger Woods' father, was stationed right next door to what became the golf course because it's a fort. It's called Fort Hamilton. It sits right at the beginning of the New York Harbor where the Statue of Liberty is. So it's an interesting place. And so my family sold it a long time ago. But many of the family members stayed and we all played golf. And today, actually, we have a cousin was the U.S. amateur champ 4 years ago, and his grandfather was the U.S. amateur champ in 1930s. So you don't see that. I mean, you don't have a lot of Italian immigrants from New York who were so prominent in golf, but we were fortunate and we did well with that. The rest of the family was in construction, or I'm in finance. My dad had a construction firm. So we had a pretty good ride so far. And I learned a lot about business working for my dad. And that's why I kind of had a kind of a real flavor for doing about business, teaching business, love economics. My degrees are in economics, accounting, and finance. And I do a lot of statistical teaching because I did that. I had a buddy who was the head of, and this is a little article about Dyker Heights. If you're in the city or anywhere near the city one year during Christmas time, this is definitely a destination. We got buses that go there from the city. It's amazing. I'm kind of amazed. Matter of fact, the Rockefeller Christmas tree, I just looked at the news today. They just delivered it to Rockefeller Center, which I can't believe that. How fast this year is going. It just went flying by. I mean, I know Thanksgiving is early. So yeah, I've been married happily for 44 years. I come from here. I have three boys. My oldest has got a PhD in structural design, and I went to Rutgers. My middle guy started a brand, which we just came back from Boston exhibiting the brand, which he started years ago. And then we told him, just go back and get your degrees. He was also an engineer, but he started this brand and it's kind of done well for itself. And so, yeah, we were up there at the biggest winter sports show in the country, which is called Snowbound. And this was the stuff that he was showing. So now, yeah, we just got back a little while ago, but he is an attorney and we told him to get his degrees and it has worked out. So the brand is getting some legs, but that's what we're doing with that. And then my youngest works at the Securities and Exchange Commission. But at any rate, that's a little bit about me. And I went to a school in Brooklyn called Xaverian High School, which arguably, most people would probably tell you, was probably the toughest Catholic high school in the city. And New York City's a big place. So to make that claim is something. But it was a very tough school and wasn't that far from where I grew up. I don't know if you ever watched the show Blue Bloods, but that's where I grew up, where the Blue Bloods people live. If you ever saw that show, it's been on for many years about policemen. And one father is the cat, one father is the grandfather, and the father are police commissioners. It's a really good, interesting show if you like police shows, but it's also a good show about family. Well, that's where I grew up, right there. And it's right by, again, where I went to high school. You could stare at the Statue of Liberty. It's right off of New York Harbor. Played sports there, played basketball and soccer. But what happened was you had to pick a language. And it's the same school that Dr. Fauci went to. His family had a pharmacy that was right up the block from my house. And Janet Yellen grew up in the area, not in my immediate area. But you picked a language and you took all your classes in that language for the first 2 years, except for math and science. And then later, you had electives after 2 years of that. You took a state examination in every test, in every class you took. It was a very tough school. And I played ball there. But long story short, when I had the chance to take electives, I took finance and economics, and that's when I started studying this stuff. And I really found a love for it. Obviously, I was fortunate because it was only a bus ride away to Manhattan to get to Wall Street, and that's where I spent most of my career before I started doing this. And it's been great. And Rasmussen does a great job. Very pleased and very proud to work here. I think they do a great job putting together the work. You'll see that it's a very useful course and it gives you a good view. It also gives you, and what I love about Rasmussen is that they foster transferable skills. So when we talk about transferable skills, what we're really talking about is the type of skills that can ultimately you could use in the workplace. So here, this course, maybe you'll see it as we move along, is clearly designed for you to use this information in the workplace. Now, one thing I'm going to look at, this is kind of an introductory lecture, so I'm not going to keep you too long today. But one thing I should mention, please make a note, and I'm going to put it in the announcement. And here's your announcement. Here's your original announcement. One thing I do want to include is that going forward, today's class was held at 12 p.m. EST. Going forward, we will meet, and you can find all this on the Microsoft Teams at 11 a.m. EST on Thursdays. Okay, so you got that. I wanted to make sure that you saw that. And to get into our classroom, so there you go. To get into our classroom, you just go down here and open up Microsoft. You should be able to see it either in classes or Teams. And this is our class should be here. I'm not sure why. I guess you have to open up Microsoft. I think because we already sunk this Microsoft Teams always confuses me. So it doesn't. Okay, so you go into meetings or Microsoft Meetings, and then what I would do at that point, And if you don't get it, just let me know and I'll figure out a way to get it to you. This thing has been very, tend to be hit today. That's meetings. Okay, so we're gonna go back here and we try to open up classes, and for some reason, I don't know why the classes aren't coming up. Yeah, it should come up immediately. Because I already sunk this thing. You know why it might not be coming up because I already have it open. So there's where we are. We're right there. So you should be able to pick it up that way. And if you can't pick it up for whatever reason, let me know. And oh, right here, go to Teams. That's what you have to do. Go right to Teams and then sign it. But that's what you want to do. You want to go right there and go to Teams. And you should. So once again, I would say go to Teams. Right? Go here. Go to Teams. Once you're in Teams, and this is not the easiest system to use, well then you'll be right. You'll see our class by just hitting the calendar. By just hitting the calendar. If you for some reason it's telling you that that doesn't work, well let me know and I'll make sure that I get it to you because we've had issues with this in the past. This is the class that we're in. Okay, this is our class. There's our calendar. And you should see the class in the files. Again, if it doesn't come up, you just let me know and I'll make sure that I get it to you. I'll make sure I get it to you. Okay. I don't want you to have any difficult time finding this. So hopefully this will work relatively easy. Otherwise, I gotta get that over to you. Okay. So let's go back. Let's look at our classroom for a minute and just want to make sure I'm sharing. I am. And here's our class. And again, for some reason this isn't here, I'll make sure that you get it. So let's do this. So module 1, so first of all, we were having a little trouble with defining the text. It wasn't there. I notified the school. One of the students who was very helpful let me know. Hit e-text. And you should see a text right there. And just hit read now, and you'll be able to read it, okay? So there you go. Right there, you're fine. Okay, the text is right there. Now, you know that discussions are due on Tuesday evenings. And if you go to your calendar, you'll see when the discussions are due. And then you have to have 2 replies by Saturday. Now that's all in your calendar. But if you go to content, you'll see that on each week's work, the due dates, I put the due dates in here. So when you go to week 1, for instance, okay, you're going to have getting started, financial market overview, and you should have a discussion here. All right, you got getting started. Just want to go back from that. And by the way, I can't stress enough to have, in your homepage, I've been reading the Wall Street Journal and New York Times forever. Really important that you do the same. It's really, really such a valuable source of financial information. And without reading those papers, it's like you're a ball player who doesn't practice. You really need to read those papers every day. We'll talk more about that as we move along, but it just is such an important thing. Okay, so I'm going to go to our courses. And you'll notice that here we are. So I'm going to open that up. And if you go into the week one, I've already put up an assignment. Okay. And I also gave you my Accounting Academy, which you will find useful in this class. Okay, you'll find that very useful in this class. Right? And why would you find it useful? Because a lot of class revolves around advising this company, Gentry. And I don't know what it's. And there's the due dates, by the way. And so if you go to module 1 and you hit it, you're going to see you have all your activities and your due dates, and I put them all in. So remember on your discussion for this particular week, your first post to answer the question is due by 11/12, which is Sunday, and the replies are due Sunday because the first week is a half week. Now go into module 2, and I just wanted to go over that, and then all the assignments are due on Sunday evening, midnight. When you go to module 2, that's gone. You're going to see that the assignments are due on the 20th, and the discussion is due on the 15th. 15th is here. It's a Wednesday, so it's going to be, I have the 15th, 12:59 a.m. because I'm on Eastern, you're on Central. It's actually due at Tuesday evening, midnight, and then the final project, the assignments are due on Sunday. So you're going to see it as Sunday midnight. So remember those two key dates. You know that Tuesday evening you have to have that initial response. By the end of the week, by Sunday or by Saturday, I think it is, you need to have 2 responses. So please make sure you do that. If you forget that, go to my announcements. And I have the expectations and dates on top of everything else. So week 2 to 5 initial posts are due by Tuesday. The reply posts are due by Saturday. The final week is due on the last day of class. It's all here. So make sure you read through it and also read through. I have a YouTube channel for Rasmussen, and that'll have a copy of other classes that I taught and other classes that I taught this class at. So, and other classes. So you can rewatch the same welcome, the same going over the same information at another place. Now, I gave this also in week 1, which is my accounting YouTube video, and I have economics chat. I have an economics academy. I have a financial academy, finance. I have a stats academy. You're going to need the accounting academy. And what it does is it goes through all the financial statements and clearly goes through all the financial statements. And that's going to be a big help for you in this class. Now, it comes along with something that I created called the interactive spreadsheet, which is when you open that spreadsheet, it shows you how all the parts of the financial statement flow through. I put that interactive spreadsheet in the week 1 work. Then the rest of the stuff is other helpful videos that you're going to be able to use in this class. So that's the first thing. You also have access to the Rasmussen channel, which I created a while back. I'm teaching here for a while. So why do I include that? Because you can watch this if you're so inclined. You can go to my my channel and go to playlists, and this is my view. It's not your view, but you'll get the Rasmussen channel. And when you get there, you'll notice, well, there's the financial modeling class that I teach, but there's a review of options, and then there's advanced principles of financial management. So you can go back to this capital asset pricing model. All this stuff are things that you can go back and watch whenever you want. Okay? It's all applicable. Here's advanced principles. Here's advanced principles. There's a bond calculator. All stuff we'll be using in this class. So make sure you make use of that. Okay? And even though it's in the announcement, you can go to content, and you could see there's the interactive spreadsheet. There's the Accounting Academy, the direct links. Direct links. Now, one of the things you're going to need to do is this course project, right? So let's look at the course project. So in this course project, you'll analyze a fictional firm called Gentry, assuming that Gentry is a mid-sized tech firm, 200 employees, 300 million in revenue, and has been privately held since the firm's inception 10 years ago. The organization's board of directors is keen on expanding the operations globally to take advantage of a growing market. Based on the reports from the research and development team, the organization can increase its profitability metrics by 15 to 25% if it expands its operation to China, Japan, and Germany. Becoming a multinational organization will not be easy. To finance this expansion, the board of directors has decided to take the organization public and issue some bonds to raise an additional $50 million. The research team has already determined that the organization meets the financial requirements outlined by the SEC. The goal is to maximize the initial public offering, and the leadership must efficiently manage the capital, measure the risk of the investments, and ensure that the financial metrics are robust relative to similarly sized organizations. Your final project, it builds on itself, is due on Module 5, but you do individual assignments along the way. So in the first week, you do the engagement outline. In the second, you do growth and expansion strategy. In the third, you do capital structure. In the fourth, you do risk identification. And we'll be talking about these. In the fifth, you do presentation. The project must have a title and a table of contents. There's no length requirement besides making sure that all requirements of the assignments are met. This project must have 2 references for each assignment. You can use your book as one reference and any search engine for additional references. Wikipedia is not a credible website and may not be used. You may also import pictures, but it's not required. So there's a very important requirement. Please make sure you understand that. Each assignment leading up to, and I'm going to make sure I copy that and give it to you guys again. Each assignment leading up to the final assignment is evaluated and graded independently. I will provide specific grading criteria. So it's all there for you. Make use of it, please. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I take that into consideration that you get it. So I'm going to go back here for a minute. I'm going to go into the announcements. And project requirements. I definitely want you to see that. And I'm going to go back for a minute. I'm just going to open up another web page. I'm going to open up UpClass again. And that again. And that's the big part of what we're doing here is this assignment. Back to Module 1. You make sure you do all your readings. That's going to be an overview and activities, which is right here. Open up your book and they're going to want you to read chapters 2, 7, 1, and 8. Make sure you review them, please. Obviously, you may not have to be responsible for every last word, but you want to review it. Okay. So the course project introduction, I want to include that. I'm going to put that up there. Okay. So for the first week, here's what I usually do. And don't copy things word for word, but I usually give you a guide. So this way you know what I'm expecting, and it's easier for you since it gives you a good overview of what you need to do. So if you go to this example, you open it, or you put it up there, you're going to see a guide to what I thought was an A-rated first week of project. There you go. That's all you have to give me. You know, I would expect you to modify it a little bit, not just directly copy it, but that's what I'm looking for. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And there's my interactive spreadsheet. And that's really what you're doing on this first week. I'm going to download this just so you have it. And I'm going to send it out as a message so everybody gets it. So now you know where to look. Always check your messages. Always check your messages. Week 1 example and total project Overview. Overview. Okay. Here. Then we're gonna go there. That to be separate, and I'm gonna attach. I think I put it somewhere. Here we go. I'm gonna attach it there. Now you have everything, okay? There you go. I think, so the only other thing you gotta think about is your discussion. And the discussion will be about risk management and the financial system. Explain the risk management process. Name 3 or more common risks a company might face, and I give you a ton of information to get you jump started. I can't do any more for you, and I want to do for you, but I want you to do, obviously, tackle your own work, but I'm going to give you as much help as possible. Once again, now I think this is the right place. If you open up classes, for some reason, I don't know why it does that, and it's so frustrating. I'm just hoping you're able to access this. If you're not, I'll make sure you're able to access it. I mean, there's the, and then you just hit on that, go to Teams. All right, I'm already open on Teams, which is here. I'm already open, so that's why it's probably not opening. All right, well, that's the work for this week. I'm going to cut it a little short today, but next week we'll do a full class. Use my guidance, use my research. The key word for the first week is welcome. The key word for the first week is welcome. See you guys next week.